Our special guest for the morning, it's all singing, all dancing musical star, Ruthie Henshall, ladies and gentlemen. Nice to see you again.
Thank you.
Ruthie, of course, has been a fixture on the West End stage for probably too many years. 20 years, plus?
No, 10.
It feels
10.
like yesterday.
Yes.
Appearing in pretty much every hit musical, from Cats to Chicago. But she's going to be returning to our TV screens come January as one of the 5 judges on ITV's hit show Dancing on Ice.
Yes.
Which I would say is probably the most dangerous show on television.
Yeah, that's why I love it, because there's jeopardy in it, real jeopardy.
Yeah.
And they have to learn a new skill. I mean, yes, Strictly Come Dancing, you know, it's for a lot of them it's learning a new skill,
Yeah,
but they can't really break
fanning
anything.
around on 2 feet on dry land on the ground, isn't it? It's not that hard.
I mean, people break bones, and they did last year, you know, so it's dangerous and also very exciting. Well, especially if you're watching Greg Rosetsky dodging bullets, as we called it last year.
Now, which idiots, sorry, celebrities have you got in it this January?
They
which
won't tell
fools?
me. They won't tell me. No, I actually had lunch with the producers, and they won't tell me. And I tried everything. I plied them with alcohol, I tried everything, but they won't tell me. I suppose because they do this big reveal.
Yeah, yeah. There's a big rumour Melinda Messenger is one of them, I know, because they've seen photos of her practising. And of course, she has automatic life-saving attachments to her.
So she falls forward.
She goes forward.
It won't be John Sargent, that's for sure.
And I've got something here. Is it true you once went away and forgot to pack your knickers? Because you look like you've just been away as it is anyway. Is that true? I get these bizarre pieces of research.
That doesn't sound like me.
Does it not?
No, apparently I'm in a book. What's the judge? The one who looks like an Oompa Loompa on Strictly Come Dancing. So it's orange.
Craig.
Craig.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Good old Craig.
Yes,
Oompa Loompa,
he
like
said
that.
some story about doing the White Cat lift and in his biography, and that I revealed something, but I think that's very untrue.
Ooh.
Yes, he said I was wearing a skirt and something was revealed when I went up.
It would have been the first time I'd have seen that, wouldn't it, for Craig? If it was. What? That something was
But
revealed?
I don't know how he could have seen that, because I was actually up in the air at the time, so he would have had to be looking through my back. So... not really sure. Yeah.
Possible.
Possible. Yeah.
Let's move on, shall we? It's great to have you here. Great to have you with us this morning. Let's tell you about today's show. It's going to kick off with Ruthie taking us through the headlines. Nice one. Just before we go to Ruthie with the headlines, I want to thank all the people, our politically astute viewers who've called in to say that Dennis Skinner's comment was any Tory moles at the palace, apparently. But the people that emailed in all called him Frank Skinner, which is bizarre. Ruthie, what have you got for us?
Oh, I just put on my glasses. Sign of age. There you go. This one is the mortgage safety net for middle classes, and Gordon Brown has thrown the housing market a lifeline by offering homeowners facing repossession a mortgage interest holiday. And actually 8 major lenders covering 70% of mortgages have signed up to the homeowner mortgage support scheme. And for this one, I mean, a comment was made actually in the green room you know, would we all pay for it later, you know, by them raising taxes and what have you.
Is it just going to defer repossessions for 2 years?
Defer. Yeah. But I actually think it's... thank goodness they're doing something. When I was pregnant with my first child, I phoned up. It was actually a sort of NatWest card, and I phoned up and said, I'm pregnant, I'm not earning, I can't afford to pay this, and my boyfriend isn't working either, and they actually froze the interest for 6 months. Yeah. And I can't tell you how much that helped to take the pressure off.
The downside is, of course, is that just about everything in Alistair Darling's miracle economic Save Britain plan is dependent on Britain getting out of the economic doodah sort of by this time next year, a bit earlier than this time next year. And no one can yet tell us what will happen if we don't, because if we don't, the knock-on effect is just going to be that there's going to be even more misery coming. Am I right there, George? That it could all pile in at the end?
Yeah, but in the 1930s, all these kinds of measures were dragged out over about 10 years.
Yeah.
Now they've all been concertinaed
Right.
into about 10 weeks. And the lesson is that if you take the 30s model, you get mass unemployment of 5, 6, 7 million people. In the United States, 13 million people. And not just repossessions, but tent cities You know,
Yeah.
you could have a tent city in Hyde Park with homeless people living in it. So you have to take dramatic action early. That's the whole lesson of Keynes. And if it works, then we'll all be cheering.
And if it
doesn't work, then the checks will all bounce.
Yeah.
And we'll be in serious trouble. But full marks, I think, to the government for at least trying.
Yeah.
And trying now almost on a daily basis. Something new is coming out. I say it's too little. I hope it's not
Well, it's interesting.
too late.
The question is, how many people is it going to help? And Margaret Beckett is saying something like 9,000 households. Not that Margaret
Yes,
Beckett
but
cares,
then
because she can move into a caravan, can't she?
Yes, but she did actually say then she wished she hadn't said that number,
Right.
because, you know, it's different now. But I actually think, for myself, if my taxes go up because I've helped somebody not be repossessed, and it has to be people who are, you know, literally can't afford it and are going to be repossessed, you know, I don't mind that.
That's good. Yeah, it's society.
Yes, it's helping
People pulling
each other,
together.
as long as it's, you know, people not sort of sponging.
OK. Anything else? What else you got?
Oh, yes, sorry, yes. Now, glasses on again.
But it's quite cool, though, they're taking them off, isn't it? I like that kind of...
It's vanity, isn't it,
Yeah.
though, really?
That wasn't what I was thinking. Sexy is what I was thinking, Ruthie.
I could actually just do...
Yeah. That's good
BBC's
too.
Moyles is accused of sex slur against Poles, and he said, in my experience, well, I think this is what he said, in my experience, prostitutes make very good cleaners. Poles living in the UK have now launched a petition demanding an apology for the offensive and nasty comments which they claim are racist.
What sort of suggesting that Poles may be prostitutes or something like that?
Yeah, but I think it says more about him than it does, you know, people getting offended by, you know, somebody making a comment. Let's switch off, don't listen to his show anymore.
I'm with Yasmin Ali Brown. She says, you know, we've made a habit out of being offended. Everyone's offended by
let's
everything.
get on a
these days.
high horse and be able to actually, you know, point the finger at somebody else. Just switch off. And also, it says an awful lot about that person, you know, that that is something that they feel that they can say. Get over it. It's their stuff.
OK, I mean, I'm just thinking in the light of, because the Jonathan Ross, Russell
That's
Brand
different.
thing,
That was personal because, I mean, I did think it was blown up, you know, out of proportion. But that's a different thing because they actually did it to one person.
Right.
And
As opposed to a whole
As opposed
country.
to a whole... Yeah, well, you know...
I don't speak
It wasn't
Moyles
personal.
myself. Amanda, could you understand that, Ruthie? It's lost in translation to me.
Yeah.
I don't actually understand
think he was basically
how anyone
saying-
could be offended. It's so inarticulate.
That's what I mean,
Yes.
I'm not sure even what it
But
means.
he
I
gets
don't
away
speak
with it all
Moyles,
the
as I
time.
say.
He comes out with things like that and then just says, "Oh, I was only joking.
Yeah,
it was only a
yeah,
joke.
yeah.
Chill out, everyone. It was supposed to
Oh, well,
be
let's
funny."
move on.
and-
Let's forget about it then. Let's move on.
let's not give him any more.
OK. His comments are obviously a bit gay. To use a Chris Moyles adjective there, isn't it?
Right. The smell of fear, one of the most terrible cliches of Pulp Fiction, is actually funded in fact. Scientists claim today... funded in fact. Well, this is anything. You really can smell fear, say the scientists. And the team found the smell of fear triggered a heightened response in brain regions associated with fear when inhaled by volunteers in a brain scanner.
It makes complete sense to me.
But
I
the
think
thing
animals
is
can
here-
tell when you're scared, can't they? Cats can tell I don't like it. You can just see those like, evil little
That's why they
eyes.
can sit on your lap, isn't
Yeah,
it?
they never sit on my lap.
They know.
Dogs
can
always
tell-
go for the people who don't like
Yep,
dogs.
yeah. Horses, like, they can tell I'm scared again. They can see the great big teeth coming out of it. Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
It makes perfect sense. And they're saying that it's the first step to isolating the fear pheromone for use in warfare.
Oh, great. That's
Well,
a
there
nice
you go.
positive twist to the story.
But this comes down to the fact that we are... if you use your instinct, then, you know, there's so much you can tell. But the smell thing... I remember dating a guy who was... I really found him interesting, lovely, good-looking. And then we went to sort of, you know, do the deed, and his smell put me totally off. And it wasn't a BO smell, it was his smell. That I
His
thought,
musk.
oh, yes.
Yes.
And I couldn't go any further. So had to feign that sort of, you know, oh, I don't think I'm ready. No, he's American, so that's all right.
You stink.
So I think smell is, you know, very, very important. And I think, you know, Dr. Winston, he did one of those, and he put 6 T-shirts. He got 6 different women to wear T-shirts, and he put them all in a jar, and then he sniffed each one. I mean, it was for an experiment. It wasn't.
Another scandal in the House of Lords.
But
For an
he absolutely.
experiment.
And do you know that the one that he liked was genetically much further away from him. I can't think of the word. But
So it encouraged the diversity of the gene pool, that you were
that's
attracted
what
to.
it was, that
Okay.
we are attracted to... I know, I've completely changed the subject from fear. But
I'm tempted to ask the audience to give us their T-shirts. And, let's find out which ones we're attracted to. And then I look at them and think, nah, let's not bother. Let's go to George instead. What have you got for us, Mr. Galloway?